Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father, and as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals out there an awesome interview. And today, I want to get this band on the show because I really dig their music. I have Mr. Steven Juliano from the band Requiem. This is actually their first album that's coming out October 25th, but everywhere on October 28th. It's called The Unexplainable Truth. So, Steven, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing awesome. I'm doing really good. Thanks for doing this interview with me. It's an honor to have you on here. And let's talk about Requiem and this new album you guys got coming out. What's going on?
The album comes out, like you said, October 28th. We just recently signed with a really awesome label, Cleopatra Records, which is a subdivision of Universal and E1. So they're really, really cool. They're really helping us out to get our name out because as of right now, we're pretty brand new. We've technically with this lineup, we've been around for about a year. So we recorded this album back in February of this year, and we did the whole kind of like band shopping to different labels and whatnot, and got quite a few interests. And Cleopatra just was amazing. They just fit us perfectly and kind of saw our vision of what we're about, with the music we want to put out, and everything around that.
The new album that's coming out, what are some of your favorite tracks off this new album?
My personal favorites, it's funny because if you listen to this album when it does come out, it's kind of like, it kind of fits a lot of genres. There's the metal, it definitely can, has that metal influence when it comes to the guitars, and the guitar players are hugely influenced by metal bands back from the 80s and 90s. And then you got the definitely punk rock influences from like my generation. And when I, was listening to, when I was a kid, listening to like old Epitaph bands like Bad Religion and NoFX and Offspring, we technically have a lot of aggressive songs, but we also have, a lot of songs that are very kind of sing-alongable, catchy. And we just shot a music video for Sticks and Stones and Her Lovely Bones, and that should be out in a few weeks. So that's one of my top favorites. It's just a lot of high energy in our album, which we're really excited about, and just a lot of fun. We practiced last night we have a show coming up in San Francisco in a few days, and we realized these songs are so fun to play live. So we're extremely, extremely proud of this album. That song is just one of those songs that I always look forward to in the set.
What do you hope the fans take away from this album once they get into their disc players and start jamming the crap out of it, man?
I think for us, I was in a band called I Am Ghost on Epitaph for 6 years, and so I've been in this industry for a while and toured a lot and worldwide, and I've seen a lot, and I played with a lot of different bands, and literally everybody from hardcore bands to pop punk bands to ska bands. I've seen it down there, and I really believe that this is something different. I believe that if you put the CD in, it's not going to be like the same bands that are kind of like, the bands that are more tour right now and stuff. I think it's a little different. We kind of fit that genre, but I just feel like the way the vocals are arranged and just the catchiness and everything, I think people are going to listen and go, wow, this is really cool. I haven't really heard a band like this before. If they do, they'll say I haven't heard of a band like this in a while, because we really tried to like do our own thing and not really care about like what people think, to be honest. But when you're young, I've kind of been doing this for so long. I remember my younger days, I so worried about people liking my music, and you get bummed if people don't, and then that's just the way it is. You always want people to like what you do, but then as you get older, you start realizing it doesn't really matter what they think. It matters what you think, and it matters what people that are closest to you think, not some random kid on some message board, faceless troll. So we definitely did our own thing, and we really did not care what anybody had to say. And as long as we're happy, then we're stoked.
I couldn't agree more, because it's your music, and if you can't stand by your music, then how are we going to stand by it? So
exactly. Exactly. And there's a really cool person a friend of mine who was actually, it was I Am Ghost's first manager, Annie Giovanno, when we first signed. The album had not come out yet with I Am Ghost, and she was like, she sat us down, and we were all wet behind the ears and didn't really know too much about the industry. And she said, look, your album comes out next week. She's like, I just do not go on message boards, do not go search your reviews. she's like, the worst thing you can do is start looking and seeing what other people think of your music. She's like, you're going to get 1 million people loving your album, and you're going to get 1 million people hating it. And your thing is, you got to like stray from what they have to say, and I really learned a lot from that. And you know, occasionally, you just happen to come across a review or whatever, and there'll be one review that's like, this is the best album I've ever heard in my life, 5 stars, and then you'll get another review, and it's like, this is complete garbage.
Yeah.
And then you always remember the bad reviews. You don't remember all the great ones, and that's the thing you learn. Like, stay away from it, and just do what you got to do to be happy, and just create, and not worry about that kind of stuff.
Steven, who are some of your influences, man, coming up? What got you in the niche to say, that's what I want to do?
The biggest influence for me, which is weird, because it's nothing like any style I've played before, but a band from Detroit called the Suicide Machines,
yes.
Which are extremely beneficial to me, because it was my very first punk show ever. I saw them when I was really young at the Roxy Theater in Hollywood, and to this day, it changed my life, literally because of how Jay, the singer, interacted with the crowd, with the way he handed the mic out to kids to sing along, the mosh pits, the kids stage diving. I mean, it was utterly insane, that show. To this day, it's probably one of the craziest shows I've ever been to, and I've been to a lot of shows in the past 10 years, and that got me stoked on music. That got me like, I want to do this, like, type thing. And other influences for me, it's funny because I grew up on theater as a kid, from like 6 years old to like maybe 12 or 11, I was doing musical theater in my hometown. So that got me started with singing and performing for a lot of people, and not getting stage fright, and seeing the whole preparation, and kind of learned that with this band and I Am Ghost and other projects. I always try to be theatrical whenever we do. I want a big epic live show. I want people to like walk away, being stoked.
I like when bands, and I'm going to say this because Alice Cooper is the man of theatrical shows.
Oh yeah, definitely. Huge, amazing influence when it comes to the live show.
Yeah, and I'm glad that there's now bands wanting to do that, and I think it's awesome. I think when you
it's hard. A lot of reasons they don't do it is because it's a lot of work, and I know that they'd rather just. It's easier just to go on your stage, your stage clothes or what you just wore, during the day. It's easier just to walk on stage and perform and then walk off and you're done. I mean, that's so easy to do.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of preparation. What he does, I mean, I'm sure, he's probably doing makeup for a couple hours. I'm probably sure there's, they're probably setting up a stage since 1 o'clock in the afternoon type thing. It's just like, it's a lot of work, but people walk away going, oh my God, that's a show, and they're going to remember that for the rest of their lives,
I want to go back here just really quick. Suicide Machines made a huge impact on me too, so I'm glad there's other ones out there. That's
awesome. Very cool.
So, in high school,
it's really rare for me to come up to say that to people now and remember them. They've heard the name, but it's like, they've been broken up for a little bit now, but I owe them a lot. And it's funny because I recently, after my last band was pretty successful, and I actually emailed Jay, the singer, and I totally did this long email to him, just like thanking him, and he was really excited and stoked because he was kind of like caught off guard. I think that people really cared enough, to write him. So,
Steven, do you and Jacqueline share vocals, or how do you guys work this out?
Yeah, we shared. I mean, I pretty much still do about 60 to 70% of the singing in the band. I think that maybe with our next album, it might be even less. I think we might do a 50-50 split. It depends, really. Jacqueline is classically trained, and she can, she sings in operas and stuff, so she has an amazing voice. And when she joined, originally it was more so we need another guitarist, not necessarily another singer. And when she joined, we were still writing the album, Unexplainable Truth. And I had all these ideas in the past, but we didn't have a girl in the band, where I kind of wanted parts that a girl would kind of sing back to me, like maybe like we're kind of singing to each other. But I didn't want to have to like find somebody and have them just kind of fill in for the album and then deal with all that. And then when she joined and then she started singing, I was like, this is beyond perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. And it was really cool. And it's kind of cool because when you come to see us, it sounds just like the album, which is really rad.
What can fans expect at a show from you guys?
I think really energy. I mean, obviously most bands have energy. I mean, we're not like going to say we're the only band that performs with energy, but I think it's like a different kind of energy. We dress up. There's theatrics involved, the light show, the smoke. We're very passionate. It's not just like we're playing and singing these lyrics that mean nothing to us. Like these songs are pretty heartfelt, for me at least. And we practice so much to make sure that we sound just like as much as we can as the album. Mm-hmm. With the signing of Cleo, we've had so many opportunities recently to. Our drummer just got full endorsement by Pearl Drums and TRX Cymbals, and we're talking to and we got Ernie Ball sponsorship for the whole band. So
nice.
Once our stuff gets upgraded and we can get better equipment, it's going to get better and better and better. And going to be, hopefully more people will be talking about us because, again, we're pretty new and it's really cool. People like you, will spend the time to interview us.
That's why I want to bring you on here because new bands, they need a chance to get their music out there. And plus, I want people to know that, hey, I will put you out there. I will do whatever I can for you guys. And that's for sure.
That's so cool. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because there's a lot of, mostly kids, I noticed that unless they've heard of your name or they, there's like a buzz or they've seen you in some big magazine or, I don't know, maybe they've seen you at Warped Tour, it's really hard to get people's attention when you're starting out. It's it's really kind of like you got to put your foot in the door and go, look at us, just listen to this music, and I think you'll dig it. And if they've never heard of you, it's a little hard to get them to like listen. But I think once they listen to Requiem, I think it's going to totally change. And it's cool. I understand that's the way it is now, especially with social media, where there's 5 million different bands out there that any kid in the U.S. or the world can like listen to. It's a lot different than when I was a kid. You had to like find CDs, and your friends would trade CDs with you, and then you start falling in love with the CD, and then you want to go see them. Whereas a kid now can just go on Facebook or Twitter and just come across thousands of other bands. So they're really fickle, and it's really hard to get their attention. So yeah, it's really people like you and other stations that will give us a chance to like tell people about us.
What do you think that Requiem brings to the table for music?
Well, I've always wanted to do something positive with anything I do when it comes to music, and I always want it to be memorable. I mean, there's people that start bands, they play for a few years, and then they kind of just disappear. Maybe put out an album or two, but that's about it, and then no one ever talks about them again. I'd like this to be something special and something where maybe in like 3 or 4 or 5 years, cross your fingers if we are doing like arenas and stuff and playing big shows. We talked about this before. We want to be like timeless. We want to be one of those bands where you can like kind of like put the CD back in 6 years from now and just be like, whoa, this is still really cool. It's not like really following some generic scene that's kind of inept right now. Because there's bands out there, obviously, that will just always, Queen and, Rolling Stones. And I mean, obviously those are beyond mega, but those bands will just never, to the day time ends, people will be listening to that music, so it's really cool.
How much is writing a relief for you?
Well, for me, the lyrics are extremely personal on this album, and I mean, all my songs usually are pretty personal. A lot of times I'll write in my last project kind of stories that really don't follow anything. They're just kind of like fun stories that maybe did or didn't happen, maybe kind of more fictional. This time around with the Unexplainable Truth, the whole title is for me explaining that there's so many things in my life that's happened to get me to where I am at this moment, from being a little kid to all these adventures we go through our life. There's all these things where I was always like saying like, man, that's the unexplainable truth, man. Like it just always happens, but there's no real reason for it, and you don't know why. You don't know why it happens, but it just always happens. And it's the same for like relationships or people that come in and out and fights, or a lot to do with people passing away and stuff. It just always seems to happen, and there is no right or wrong or a reason or how it's explained. And so this time around, the album was definitely a lot about my life and what's gone right and what's gone wrong. A lot has gone wrong. Like all of us, there's things we wish we can redo, and we can't. But you learn from those mistakes, and and this time around, I put all the songs into like just kind of like a timeline of my life, and I think it actually shows now with our live show. I think you can kind of see, like, when I'm singing, you're like, man, this guy's feeling it. He's not this guy kind of pretending on stage. Like, this shit really means a lot to him.
And that's what we need. Because, I mean, honestly, when you're up on stage and you're giving it to us, we can feel it.
Yeah, and I've seen it before, and the majority of the bands I come across, I mean, I still go to shows when I'm off tour or not playing. I go and see my friends' bands or just go see a show. And, yeah, I would say majority of the time I come home going, that was a boring show. I was really not too much entertained. It's really rare that I come across a band or a show where I just am like, wow, that was just really epic, that was cool. Yeah, I just think that I wish more musicians would be more honest with their lyrics and be more, even if it's bad. I mean, that's the thing about this album is that majority of these songs aren't like good. I mean, it's a lot of bad things that happened, and I wanted to, write about it and tell people, that I messed up or other people messed up.
Steven, I want to thank you for taking time out to do this interview with me. I wish you guys the best of luck, and I know everybody's going to catch on to you guys, and hopefully get to see you out there on some of these festivals that are coming up next year and some this year at the end of the year. But how can people stay in touch with you guys, buy your merch, and buy the new album? How can they do that?
We're all over the social media. The best way to reach us, if you want to find out like everything about us and also see all the links to like our social media sites, they're all on to go to our official website, which is requiemofficial.com, and pretty self-explanatory. You can watch videos there. You can get news updates, tour dates, links to our merch, and links to all our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and all that good stuff. Thank you so much for letting me, talk about our new album.
Hey, that's no problem. Before I let you go, will you care to do a promo for the show?
Yeah, for sure. Hey, guys, this is Steven Juliano from Requiem, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some music coming up for you guys out there listening, but be sure to pick up Requiem's new CD that's coming out, The Unexplainable Truth, October 25th, and everywhere October 28th. You only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Steven, thank you so much, and the best of luck to you guys. Tell everybody I said hello, my friend.
All right, cheers. Thank you so much. Talk to you later.
Have a good day, man.
All right, see ya.